If you are not already chopping your tiles in Civilization 6, you are missing out on one of the best ways to elevate your game. I would like now to welcome you into Chop City, a city specifically designed and curated to make you the best Civilization 6 player of all time. Now you might be sitting there thinking, VanBradley, that sounds great. I would love to be the best Civilization 6 player of all time, but what on earth does chopping mean? Alas, I am here to help you out. Chopping is a term used to describe taking a builder and using a build charge to remove a bonus resource or to remove a feature from a tile. Now you might be sitting there again going, okay, cool, now I know what a chop is, but why on earth should I do it? You see, chopping does remove the thing from the tile. So if we harvest this rice, the rice will be gone. If we chop these woods, the woods will be gone, but what they give us is invaluable. If you hover over the removal icon for any one of these tiles, you will see that in return for removing the thing from the tile, for chopping it out, you are going to get a bulk boost of yields. Civilization 6 in general is a game that relies heavily on snowballing to get ahead of the AI. If you have bulk boosts of yields entering your empire, you are able to take all of those yields and use them right now to get your empire set up for a later game strategy instead of just leaving them on the tile to kind of trickle in as the game goes on. Basically, chop is good because snowball, if you want it like put down in one sentence. The next thing we should cover before we actually get to chopping anything is what kind of yields are on offer here. What kind of strategies can you use? The most common way to do this is to chop for production, to remove something to get a big bulk of production. You can do this with stone early on. If you hover over here, we will get 68 production towards something if we remove this. If we go to woods here, we will get 68 production as well. Woods and stone are your best bets to chop out production. If you are looking for food, rice and wheat tiles are going to be the easiest and kind of most common options. If we hover over this rice, 68 food. The wheat is also 68 food. If we go for the marsh, that's also 68 food. No way. So those are kind of your three options early on in the game for food. Rainforests are fun, but a little bit annoying to strategize around because they give you half food and half production. Typically, I'd rather just have one or the other, but we'll take what we can get. If you're looking for gold, there are also some options. Maize will chop for gold, as well as copper, but I made Chop City one tile too small, so we can't chop this copper. But it will give you gold regardless. Now, let's see this in action, all right? I want to get rid of this rice. I want to do something with this tile. We have the builder on top. We want to chop it out. Chopping it out is as easy as literally just clicking the harvest resource button. Okay, Eleanor, thank you for ruining my tutorial. Well, Eleanor really sucks, but I'm keeping it in the video because that was really funny. And that's civilization in a nutshell. You can't even specifically design a city and have it work out for you the way you wanted. You'll see now the rice is gone. No more food on that tile. One of those food is missing. So we are losing that one food per turn, but we got it in a big bulk. And you'll see that actually raised the population of our city. Before we continue chopping, I want to highlight Magnus the Governor. If you put Magnus in a city, his default ability is to give you plus 50% yields from plot harvests and feature removals in that city. So if you're looking to maximize your chops, you're going to want to put Magnus in a city, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Magnus is now in the city, and you can see that those chops that were worth, 68, 70 food earlier are now worth 102. So we're getting significantly more bang for our buck chopping with Magnus in the city. Now, there is a whole bunch of different strategies relating to chopping, and they all kind of intertwine with each other. So there's no specific order I can do this in, but I'm going to go over all of the basic strategies and techniques you can use to make chopping most effective in your games. One of the first reasons you might want to chop a tile is because you're going to put something there anyway. In Chop City, I really want a commercial hub because I like money. I am Scrooge McDuck. Give me those trade routes. I want to put a commercial hub on this woods tile because I'm filming a tutorial video. But if I place the commercial hub on the woods tile, the woods are just going to go away and I'm going to get nothing for that. What I might want to do instead is come here and chop the production so I get 102 production for putting my commercial hub down that I was going to put down anyways. Now let's say I really want the production to go towards the commercial hub. The production you gain is going to go towards whatever is in your production queue. So if I leave this granary here, the production will go towards the granary. If I want it to go towards the commercial hub, I'm going to remove the granary from the queue. You can leave the queue empty. You don't need to be producing something. So leave the queue empty. You're going to chop the production. Let's do a little test here. This is going to take 13 turns to build as it is right now. What we're going to do is we are going to chop this production into the city just like this. Boom, plus 102 production. If I come back here, it is now going to take 6 turns because all of that production is now going towards the commercial hub. I'm going to put the commercial hub down and boom, 6 turns, we're going to have a commercial hub. Now, the next reason I might want to use a chop in a city is to increase the population. This is best done with food, which we've already illustrated when we chopped the rice and Eleanor interrupted us, right? We have 3 population right now. Our next district is available at 4 population. Let's say I really want that district right now. I want to elevate my game. I want to get some tempo going. I want to slap down a government plaza so I can start building settlers more quickly. Well, what I might want to do is take a builder, hover it over this dumb wheat tile. Ew, wheat. Who needs wheat anyway? I'll harvest the resources. We'll get to 4 population and a ton extra as well. And then I can come in here and I can place down the government plaza as well. That wasn't available to me earlier because I'd already committed to the commercial hub. Chopping out food to increase the city population also has a few other effects other than the district one. However, the district run is the reason I chop food the most. The next is loyalty. If you have other cities nearby that are putting negative loyalty pressure on your city, chopping for a new city population will help you keep loyalty in that city and help that city not deteriorate and flip to the AI. One of the other reasons you might want to chop out food to increase your population is to be able to work more tiles. If you settle near a wonder or you settle in Chop City and you have a bunch of good tiles with a lot of food and a lot of production, you need people in your city to work those tiles. If we open up our citizen screen here, you will see that we have these white tiles that we're working with our population, so we're collecting that food and production, but all of these black tiles here that we're not working, we're not collecting any of this for our city. Now, if all of the rest of our city were just these useless 1-1 tiles here, you might not want to waste a chop on that population, but you can see we're leaving quite a few yields on the table by not having the population to work them. And so if we come here, I hope this will be enough, and we chop out more marsh, and we even chop out the rainforest here, boom, that one gave us the commercial hub and population. You'll see now that we're working way more of those tiles because we have a higher population. The next and most popular strategy I use for chopping is to chop production for a wonder. So let's say I've got this flatland desert tile here. Eleanor really stinks. I want to kick Eleanor's butt later in this game. But to do that, I'm going to need more build charges so I can get more chops so I can go and beat her up. So what we're going to do is we are going to place the pyramids down here. But VanBradley, it's going to take 8 turns to get the pyramids. What if she builds the pyramids? Oh my goodness, you wouldn't want that to happen. Good news, if you just put a wonder in the queue, you can just chop out the woods around your city and boom, you've got the pyramids. Now this is important for a few reasons. One, for wonders, you can never get them again. If somebody else gets the pyramids, you don't get them, okay? So it's not like a commercial hub where chopping it out is great, but you can still get one if you didn't, or if they build one as well. But with the pyramids or any other wonder, it's pretty critical to chop them out sometimes just to make sure you get the wonder and the AI doesn't. The second most popular reason I use chops early on in the game is to chop out an early settler. If I don't have any wonders I really want, but I have a lot of chops available, right? So I have all of these woods. This is still way more chops than I need. Anyways, I've put Magnus in the city. I want to utilize my chops early on. Civilization, again, is a game about snowballing. There is a finite amount of land, and you want to take it up. It is harder to take land later than it is to just acquire it at the beginning. And this game, Civilization 6, is much better played wide than it is tall. The game does not punish you very much for building a lot of cities, so it's something you want to be on top of. If I come and settle this river system, it likely means Eleanor is not coming to settle this river system, so there's an opportunity cost there. So what we want to do is chop out an early settler. Again, if we don't have the wonders, pyramids is better. But whatever, we want to chop out an early settler. We're going to come here, we're going to chop it out. Boom, I've got my settler. I'm going to send it up to this river so Eleanor doesn't get it. Bada bing, bada boom, good strategy. Another thing you might want to do is to make an early purchase. When I was learning Civ, where I couldn't play on deity, but I did know how to chop things, I frequently chopped things out to buy units to kill barbarians when they were annoying me. But the principle still applies. So I gave myself a bunch of gold in this game to buy all these tiles in Chop City. But what I'd like to do now is show you something cool. If I come in here and I want to buy a unit, let's say I want to buy, oh, we've upgraded a little bit. I want to buy a warrior. The barbarians are annoying me. I want to buy a warrior, but I only have like 40 or 50 gold, 8 gold per turn. I'm struggling to get some gold. What I'd like to do is come in here and chop 205 gold so that I can now afford my warrior, and boom, I can go beat up those stupid barbarians. But really, again, we're talking about tempo. Maybe you want to chop it to get a market. That will replace the gold per turn, but you'll get the market much quicker. That means you get a trade route quicker. That trade route gives you gold every time it goes and does something. So the more times the trade route can go and do something, the more gold you're going to get. You can see how this tempo, all from this one chop, kind of kind of accelerates in this market here. You can just see, you can see it. You can see it. I hope you can see it. Now, the next question you might have is, how do I know which tiles to chop? Because chopping tiles does remove yields from them. You don't want to leave your cities without any yields, so you do need to be a little bit careful with how you want to approach this. Here are a few rules of thumb I like to go by, but this kind of does change game by game. The more you chop resources and the better it feels, the more you'll get a feel for it. So I don't have any direct answers, but there's a few things here. If you chop woods that are on top of a hill, for instance, you can always put a mine back down to get the production back. It does use another build charge, but you get the big boost of production now. You put a mine down to get the production back. Bada bing, bada boom. At least you're leveling out and leaving your city with some yields. The other thing to consider might be if a specific tile improvement is going to be helpful for you. If we open up here and go to the Ruhr Valley, if you go along here, it says +1 production for each mine and quarry in the city. So if we build the Ruhr Valley in Chop City, we want a lot of mines and a lot of quarries. If we come here to this tile, okay, I'm gonna have to skip a turn. If we come here to this tile and try to improve it, it'll be improved with a pasture. So not a mine and not a quarry. That's not really what we're looking for. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna harvest this out and just leave the hills tile there. And then to synergize with our future Ruhr Valley, we're just gonna put a mine down, and then we've chopped, we've got a big bulk of yields, and we've made the tile better for the strategy we're going for. All right, I've mega cheated to give myself all the techs and all the civics, but another thing to consider is whether a different kind of tile improvement is going to improve a culture strategy. So if we come up here into naturalism, wherever that is. Sorry, it's called conservation. I'm just an idiot. Basically, what happens though at conservation is if you come into here, it allows builders to plant woods. Woods give appeal to your empire. So let's say you have Earth Goddess as a pantheon, or you want a high appeal empire, or you're building preserves for appeal. It might be worth chopping out a quarry like this, right, to leave the hill tile bare, so you can then plant woods on the hill tile. Similarly, later in the game, it might be worth doing something like this, chopping out the deer to leave the tile as hills, and then coming in here and adding power to the tile. So there's a lot of different tile improvements that might be helpful later in the game, and instead of just putting them down, you got to remove the resource first, so that might be an option. You'll also see that these resources are now harvesting for 300 instead of 100 and whatever they were just a couple of turns ago. That happened because we moved through the tech tree. As you move through the tech tree, not any specific spot, but just kind of going through the tech tree and leveling up your empire, your chops are going to be worth more. This isn't something you have to mega pay attention to. If you just play the game of Civ, especially if you get that snowballing effect going, your chops will just go up as the game progresses in a way that feels pretty natural. A few other things to keep in mind before I leave you is you can't chop anything until you unlock the technology for it. So having a plan and knowing what you want to chop is important. If you want to get rid of stone, you are going to need masonry. Allows the harvesting of stone. If you want to get rid of any of the animal resources, the cattle, the sheep, and the deer, you got to have animal husbandry. Bronze working will be rainforests. Mining will be woods and copper. And so you do need to kind of just look through the early ones here and see, is this something I want to remove? If so, what do I need to get to be able to remove it? Now, I've cheated again to change the map a little bit, but what I want to illustrate now is what cannot be chopped, because it does get a little bit confusing. So your bonus resources, it'll hover. If you hover over it, it'll tell you. If it says bonus resource, it can be removed. A lot of your features can be removed. However, luxury resources like citrus cannot. So if you have any luxury resources and you try and remove them, you won't have that option. You will only have the option to build kind of the tile improvement. So you cannot remove luxury resources. You also cannot remove strategic resources, okay? And so if you're trying to chop out aluminum or horses or iron or oil or niter, do we have all of them kind of just sitting in the city? Chop City rocks. You should live here. You see that we are not able to chop out aluminum. We can only put the mine on it. So bonus resources and features, yes. If you are going for strategic resources or luxury resources, no. And that'll be it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something a little quicker than my usual tutorials. I tried to be a little bit speedier with this one and kind of get to the point. If you did enjoy it though, make sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more Civ 6 content. Civ 7's around the corner as well. Gonna be making a lot of tutorials for that. As always, the Civilization community is large and full of different opinions. I kept this tutorial quite short and to mostly basic information and strategies. If you have anything else you'd like to add to this chopping tutorial, so kind of newbies to Civ or people learning to elevate their game can kind of gain more information from the comments, that would be amazing. If you want to chat with more Civ 6 nerds, our Discord link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Chop away in your next Civ game, and I'll see you in the next one.